So, hi Chase, thank you so much for accepting this testimonial again because we
No problem.
are recording it for the second time. Can you please introduce yourself for our viewers and tell us a bit more about who you are, where you're from, why you learn French, etc.
For sure, yeah. My name's Chase. I am from Canada, and I'm currently living in Paris, France right now as an actor, but I'm going to a school right now that's fully taught in French. Uh, it's a physical theater school, um, and I'm learning French for the training.
hmm And how was your French before you got the roadmap? Can you tell us a bit how it felt and describe your level?
Yeah, it wasn't too great. I felt a little bit always nervous and a bit stressed out, and I couldn't really understand people when they were trying to speak to me, and I couldn't really respond before the roadmap. So yeah, I could.
Please just tell us about yeah, how your French is now and how what the roadmap has changed for you.
Sure. Yeah, it's my French level has increased. I'd say a lot in terms of me being able to understand people. I can really uh, be in a French conversation now, and I can respond. I mean, my responses are still a little bit broken, but I still can have this. I can get the sense of what I wanted to say out, and French speakers can understand me in this way. Um, but yeah, I like I had said before, I had a conversation with a teacher of mine, uh, who was French in my school, and it was kind of unexpected. Like I never expected to be in the conversation, and all of a sudden I found myself speaking without even knowing that I was all of a sudden in a French conversation. And
So
yeah, so
you just got into the conversation like that, and you realized after from, damn, I'm speaking French, something like
yeah,
this.
like I didn't there was no real trouble there. Yeah, it didn't hit me until the end of the conversation that I was like, oh, I can have a French conversation without without completely um, being in confusion. I wasn't in confusion. I was communicating finally.
Just communicating like naturally. That's really amazing. So can you please share a little bit about how the process of working with me on your roadmap and then the process of working with your roadmap was?
Yeah, so you had offered me to do the roadmap, and that was really awesome. And you had sent me a bunch of questions, some questions that just talked about sort of like my goals and wanting to learn French, and my frustrations and my weaknesses, and what I want to improve. Where do I want to see myself? And they're all questions that I was happy to answer because I kind of I love to kind of vent about my frustrations in learning
Was
sometimes.
was it
Um,
easy to answer those questions? Like,
yeah, totally easy. I found, yeah,
mhm.
and they actually in answering them, I found I kind of discovered my own way of like my I don't know how to explain this. It's like I found that I was able to make clear my problems by answering these questions also, because I never really posed these questions to myself sometimes, but you posing them helped in that way. So then I sent you the questions, and with all that, you had created a very personalized sort of program in which to follow. And you know, in my I've explained to you how I've kind of have really bad willpower in keeping going with my French, and with that, you've given me some just little things to do, and not to put so much pressure on myself, and just some little like 10-minute, 5-minute things to do during the day that can actually in long term help a ton.
Mhm. How do you work with? How do you learn French on your day-to-day basis with the roadmap?
Yeah, so I listened to some podcasts that you had sent me. They're like some of them are only like 20 minutes. So in the morning, I'll listen to a podcast just to get it in my ear. I don't understand everything, but it's funny how you can pick up little phrases just by listening. And then sometime during the day, I don't know when, it depends on the schedule, I will have a glance at my notebook that just has some new words that I've learned or some old words, and I'll just for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much time I have, if I'm on the metro or I'm just at home before I go to sleep, just look at some words that I had learned before, and just to remind myself. And yeah, um, and then I will try to listen. I have a book, a book that some of the books that you sent me for my level. I I have like a CD with them as well, so I can listen to someone reading it with me, so I can follow along with that. Try to just do a page of that. I also have some French comics that my friend gave me, that I'm just like able to read one page of just some very simple French phrases with some silly cartoons, and that, yeah, that's about it. And I listen to French every day in my school. Like most of my days are spent listening to French and trying to communicate in French, and so that takes up a lot of my, yeah, my day. So
Yeah, but so it's all integrated, right? It's not like you put yourself in the school to.
no, I mean I asked for this, you know. It's not forced upon me, and it's a great way to learn.
And so you've
sure.
got your roadmap. I think it was in April 2018, and it's now the beginning of October. So that's 6 months for like this progress of going from what you describe as being not really able to communicate to having conversations without knowing it.
Yeah.
And so did you consistently study for these 6 months, or how did you?
Yeah, I mean there's on and off points, but for the most part, yeah, I mean depending how busy you are, and sometimes you fall off a bit, but yeah, to consistently just kind of look at your book once in a while, and of course, if you're living in France, you have no choice but to always be learning French, and then to be speaking it too. And I have so I'd say very frequently.
Have you been in France for the whole time during those 6 months?
French for the whole time?
Have you been in
France
for the whole time?
No, I went back to Canada for about a month. And I think that was just, I mean, that's taking a break after being in France for almost a year. And so I in that month, I kind of had taken a break from learning.
So you actually were in France for a full 6 months before you got the roadmap?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, because I came to you about maybe 3 months in, I feel like, of me living in France.
Right.
And before that...
Just to make it clear to the viewers, so you were with me, we had some lessons together before you got the roadmap. Is that what you mean?
Yes, we had some lessons together before the roadmap. So yeah.
I think that I don't do anymore, but I did at the time.
Yes.
What would you say to someone who is considering getting the roadmap now?
Yeah, I'd say that it's definitely worth it. It's absolutely worth it, because you put in the time to really take the person's personal learning style, you know, and to put it into a very simple program that's very useful. And in a certain way, like for example, me, like again, with my stressing out about learning French and kind of having lack of willpower, sometimes you get me to learn around my frustrations without me even knowing it, in a certain way.
Wow, like I get you to learn without you even knowing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. You learn without knowing it, and one day, boom, you're in the conversation, and
yeah, exactly. It's without effort, but just by doing it, you know, doing little things, and that's for sure.
That's
your style.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much, Chase, for this testimonial. That's really helpful, and I'm sure it will help the people who have watched it a lot. So yeah, thank you very much.